Welcome to Personal Injury Claims Explained by Foyle Legal, your trusted source for personal injury claims in Western Australia. Each week, we simplify complex legal issues, from motor vehicle accidents to workplace injuries, so you can confidently navigate your rights and secure the compensation you deserve.
Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're diving headfirst into the wild world of motorcycle safety, Western Australia style.
And let me tell you, when we say WA style, we mean it, because this isn't just your generic safety spiel.
Nope, not at all. We're going deep, folks, really digging into what makes riding in WA so unique, the specific challenges riders face out here.
And most importantly, how to stay safe on those open roads.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Now, our trusty guide for this little adventure.
Foyle Legal. They're a Perth-based law firm, and they drop some serious knowledge in their article.
Oh, I'm talking essential motorcycle safety tips to avoid injuries in WA. Gets right to the point, doesn't it?
It does, and what's fascinating is that it goes way beyond the usual, wear a helmet, be careful. They actually get WA. They understand its diverse terrain, the unpredictable conditions.
All those things that make it a whole different ballgame for riders, right?
Exactly.
So let's turn to their insights. First up, gearing up. Now, helmet's obviously a no-brainer, right?
Of course.
But this article, they really emphasize the importance of proper gear, head to toe, the whole 9 yards. And let me tell you, they don't sugarcoat the consequences of skimping out.
Nope, not at all.
They paint a pretty vivid picture talking about how something as common as loose gravel, which we've got in spades in WA, can turn a little slide into a serious case of road rash.
And it's not about trying to avoid every little scratch, right? It's about understanding the environment and what it can throw at you. It's about minimizing harm when, not if, but when those oops moments happen.
And that leads perfectly into their next point, adapting to WA's wild side.
It's true. They emphasize riding here. It's all about strategy. You got to adjust based on the terrain, the conditions.
Whether you're cruising along the coast or hitting those outback trails.
Exactly.
And okay, get this. They actually challenge us to rethink speed limits.
In WA, sticking to those limits, it's not about blindly following rules. Not at all. It's about really experiencing the ride.
Maximizing your sensory experience, connecting with the landscape.
Because that's what it's all about, right? Appreciating the journey, not just the destination.
Hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah.
And speaking of being in tune with your ride, the article's take on motorcycle maintenance, another gem.
Oh, absolutely. They're big on minimizing variables, like eliminating surprises as much as possible.
So that when you hit the throttle, you're 100% confident in your bike's response. It's like that old saying, hope for the best, prepare for the worst, but in this case, preparation. That's a well-maintained bike.
Couldn't agree more.
And on that note, anticipating those curveballs life throws at you, the article dives into what they call the art of defensive riding.
Oh, I love this part.
Right. Sounds a bit ominous, like something out of a spy movie, but
It's really not. It's actually about tapping into the collective wisdom, the experiences of all those seasoned riders out there.
think of it like having a veteran rider riding shotgun, whispering all the tricks of the trade, all those hard-won lessons so you don't have to repeat them.
It's invaluable, really.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're all geared up. Bikes are in tip-top shape. We're channeling our inner rider psychic, ready to dodge those what-if scenarios.
Right.
But let's be real. Sometimes, despite our best efforts, accidents happen. And that's where this article takes a really interesting turn, I think, because it dives headfirst into the legal landscape, specifically for motorcyclists in WA.
And believe me, things get very eye-opening very quickly.
They do. Because here's the thing. The law, it recognizes that in any accident, the motorcyclist, always the most vulnerable.
It's physics, isn't it? Less metal, less protection. It's just common sense.
Exactly. And you know what? The article, it actually uses this very specific legal term to describe it. Vulnerable road users.
Oh, yeah.
Which, okay, might sound a bit jargony, but
Yeah.
what does it actually mean?
Yeah.
Like, in a practical sense.
Well, it means that, legally speaking, there's this understanding built in that motorcyclists are at a disadvantage in a collision.
And that could be huge, right?
Huge, especially when it comes to proving liability, because the burden of proof, it shifts toward the other party.
So it's not just about being physically vulnerable. It's about being recognized as such by the legal system.
Yeah.
Which is massive.
Absolutely. And the article really hammers this home when they discuss common motorcycle accidents here in WA, like drivers misjudging a rider's speed, their distance.
Which happens all the time.
All the time. And that often leads to those really dangerous situations, like sudden lane changes right in front of you or turning directly into your path.
It's terrifying.
It is. That's why they emphasize anticipating those situations, being extra vigilant, especially at intersections, and always being prepared to react safely.
Which, let's be honest, sometimes feels like you need to be able to predict the future, right?
It does. And that just goes to show how important defensive riding is in a place like WA. You've got that mix of urban areas and then those wide open spaces that can sometimes lull drivers into a false sense of security.
And let's not forget those unique WA road hazards we were talking about earlier. Plot holes, loose gravel. The article mentioned several instances where accidents were caused by factors completely outside the rider's control. Even wildlife darting across the road, a very real danger out here.
It's true. So it's like you need this whole other level of awareness, constantly scanning for potential dangers.
On top of navigating traffic, dealing with the unpredictable weather, which, let's be honest, can change in a heartbeat out here.
It's a lot to handle. But it all boils down to respect, doesn't it? Respecting the road, respecting the environment, but also respecting the fact that sometimes even the most careful, experienced rider can't avoid every single hazard.
That's right.
And that's when understanding your legal rights becomes absolutely essential.
Because, let's be real, even if you're doing everything by the book, all it takes is one mistake from someone else.
Yeah.
And you could find yourself in a really vulnerable position.
Exactly. And that's when knowing your rights can make all the difference.
Absolutely.
The article actually uses brake failure as an example. Like, not your fault, right?
Right.
But proving that, navigating all the legal stuff afterwards, it can be incredibly difficult, especially if you're trying to do it alone without the right support.
It's like having this whole other layer of armor, knowing that if the worst does happen, you've got someone in your corner who can fight for your rights and make sure you're treated fairly. It's not about expecting the worst, but about being prepared for anything.
Exactly. And that, to me, is one of the most valuable things about this article.
Yeah.
It doesn't just teach you how to stay safe on the road, but also how to navigate the legal system. Because, let's face it, it can be a bit of a maze sometimes.
It can.
So
you've got to be prepared.
Exactly. And I think that's such an important message for anyone who loves riding. Because it's empowering.
It is. It's about riding with confidence, knowing that you've got all your bases covered.
Absolutely.
It's empowering. Like, you're not just along for the ride, you're in control.
Exactly. And that control, that awareness, it extends beyond just, mastering your bike, knowing the rules of the road.
Yeah, it's bigger than that, isn't it?
It is. It's about understanding the whole context, the legal landscape, the unique risks of riding in a place like WA, and being prepared for anything.
Which, let's be honest, in WA, that's saying something.
It is. But that's what makes it so exhilarating, right?
It does. It adds a whole other dimension to the experience.
Absolutely. And while we've gleaned some really, really valuable stuff from this Foyle Legal article, this conversation, it doesn't end here.
It doesn't, does it?
No. Because we've gone deep on Western Australia, but this whole topic, it's got much broader implications.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it makes you think, right? How do these safety tips, these legal considerations, how do they change in other parts of the world?
Right. Like, do other countries have similar legal frameworks? Do they recognize vulnerable road users in the same way?
And what about the riding itself? What unique challenges do riders face in different terrains, different cultures? It's like we've unlocked this whole secret level of motorcycling,
I like that, the secret level. Because it's there, isn't it? This whole layer of knowledge that goes beyond the basics.
Totally. And it makes you realize, like, being a responsible rider, it's bigger than just, looking cool in your leathers.
Oh, way bigger. It's about respecting the ride, respecting yourself.
And being informed.
Yeah.
Knowing your rights, understanding the risks. It's empowering.
It absolutely is. Because knowledge is power, right? The more you know, the more you can anticipate, the better prepared you are.
Couldn't agree more. So as you head out on that next ride, whether you're cruising those coastal roads or tackling those rugged outback trails, just remember what we talked about today.
Gear up, stay sharp, ride defensively, and never, ever underestimate the importance of knowing your rights.
Beautifully said. Ride safe, everyone, and until next time, keep the rubber side down.
Thanks for tuning in to Personal Injury Claims, explained by Foyle Legal. Remember, this podcast is for informational purposes and isn't legal advice. For advice specific to your situation, visit us at Foyle Legal. And don't forget to subscribe or leave a review.